Hello and welcome to the week ahead. I've been gone for, what, 3 weeks now? And I'm back, and you're not looking at me because I'm sick. I have a cold, I feel terrible, I don't want you to see my face, so I'm hiding it. Maybe next week you'll see me again, fingers crossed. Okay, what the hell's going on? It's been a crazy couple of weeks since I saw you, and back the last time I saw you, I think we were in this balance over here on the Qs. And of course, the bull market rages on. So this dark blue line here that's really close to all this price action and that orange line there, that's the EMA 12. And if you remember a few weeks, months, whatever it was ago, we were talking often about how it just keeps holding a support, keeps holding a support. And then we finally got a break here and we thought, oh, we're finally going to go down. And then we raged to new highs. And then we broke it again. We thought, that was just a fake out high. Now we're going to go lower. And we didn't. We chopped, chopped, chopped. Even here, on this day here, which I can't remember what day that was. What that was, the 2nd of September. I thought, here we go, we're gapping down. This is it. It's finally happening, and we rallied. And if you look at that low compared to the prior low, it was a double bottom. So, rally, 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 nonstop rally. Away we go. We're back up above. What do you notice? What do you notice about the gaps above this daily EMA 12? Let's just draw a little box over here. So we peaked here, and the EMA 12 was down there-ish, right? So you can sort of see that pink box. Well, let's put it over here. Where are we at now with respect to that? We're pretty much there, same amount of stretch. And I think if you took this box and you just dragged it around, you'd see that there is like an upper limit that price tends to get to before it gets tired and needs to come in again. And I think, we're still pushing high. Look at the rate of ascent of this blue line now. It's like it's curling upwards. So, and look at the volume of the last few days. It's been pretty high. So are we going to top? I don't know. I'm not really looking for a top and reversal. I'm not looking for this to happen again back over here. I just want the market to come in for a couple of days, chill out, and then let the EMA catch up, and then away we go again. So when I look at this, there's a few things that I think about, which is, the QQQ is no longer a daily EMA 12 rider. Does that mean that the bull market is over? Obviously not. It just keeps going. And I think it's time to just consider that maybe this other sort of shaded blue line right here, that's the weekly EMA 12. And that seems to be holding pretty good. And you can see it has a history of holding pretty good in the past. And I use that one quite often. For me, it's almost a proxy for this very bright blue line, which is the 50-day simple moving average. They tend to move quite in sequence with each other. And I know a lot of people really care about that moving average. And so a lot of people say in an uptrend, the 50-day is a wonderful place to buy a stock. And so that's kind of the range that I'm looking at now with the Qs. Like if they pull back in here, I don't really care. Like even if we broke down and then set a daily lower high and then got another daily lower low, if we did something like this, let's say the weekly EMA 12 just continues up like this, along with the 50 doing the same sort of thing, something like that. And we top somewhere up here and come in, break down a little bit, lower high, lower low that touches on and around these moving averages, and then we get our little uptrend continuing upwards. That's totally healthy and fine. And I'm not going to see a daily downtrend and think, oh my God, the market has topped. That's just not what's happening. It's not what's been happening. It just like here, that's exactly what happened here, right? We had a daily higher low, lower high, almost got the lower low, and then away we go again, right? So that's what I'm thinking about here. Like, even if we get extended, or even if we get, up for another day or two and then pull back in again, like, I'm not going to keep I'm tired of climbing this wall of worry that, the market is going to top, the market is going to top. It just keeps going. It just keeps going. The easiest thing for the market to do is to just keep going. And so that's what I'm going to assume it's going to do. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about is that I haven't really been trading the Qs that much other than intraday. Like intraday scalps, if we're on a sideways day, I'll use the Qs quite a bit then because the community that I'm in, which I've talked about before, the Steam Room, there's a great crew of people in there that are excellent at trading intraday, especially on range days. And so on those days where there's not a lot of other action going on, that's what I've been focusing on. But other than that, I haven't really been trading the Qs very much, other than my like long-term positions that I'm still holding. That I initiated down over here somewhere, and like held through all this, sold some here, bought some back in here, and even on this dip, I added more there. I'm just like, why fight it? Why fight it? It's just going up. So what I have noticed is that the individual names is where it's at. And so I want to talk a little bit now about how I've been failing to capitalize on some of the moves happening in the market and how I'm adjusting my plan to do it. And let's start with GDX. So GDX has been, since this tight consolidation that took forever over here. So where was that range top? Let's just see. I guess it was here, but you could even say it was further back, right? You could say it was as far back as here that it was trying to get up there, and then finally hit this ceiling at like 55, and then couldn't get above it, couldn't get above it, couldn't get above it, but was pinching between that ceiling and the 50-day moving average or the weekly EMA 12, whichever one you prefer, bouncing around, bouncing around, bouncing around, finally breaks out, breaks free, comes back in, sideways a bit more, sets another resistance that you tried to get above, boom. And where did it hold? Daily EMA 12. And from there, it goes up, 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 gets another little sideways hold here, breaks through, goes up higher. Now the 5-day simple moving average, the orange line, is holding, 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 holding. And here on Tuesday, September 16th, it finally broke. And what did it do? Where did it come into? The daily EMA 12. And then Friday, we had this banger day. It was just out of control, right from the open. Bulls shot out of a cannon into the freaking stratosphere. This is hard to trade, right? Like when this is shooting up on the open, that's a very, very difficult trade to get into. Unless you're just like insanely confident that this is going to happen, buying with size right there, that's hard. And I've done it, but I've also failed many times where I thought that something was going to go. I did it. I took a stop. I've probably taken way more stops there than I've had wins. And so I've been trying to play that game for quite a while where I'm looking for the stocks that are about to break and then getting into them, hopefully intraday. Like what I was hoping for when this bottomed here against the daily EMA 12 and I failed to see it was I was hoping to have it pull in a bit here and then get anything over yesterday's low for the continuation of the upside, which is, it's a trade that I do all the time actually, but instead it just rocketed out and you've missed the move then. And so a good friend of mine, a trader that I trade with, excellent trader that I trade with, has recently declared that she has settled on her strategy. She is only focusing on that specific kind of setup and she's doing very, very well with it. And that is finding stocks that are riding moving averages on the daily time frame and waiting for them to come back in and test the daily EMA 12, which they've been riding. And it might be, there's all kinds of examples. It could be daily EMA 12, it could be 2-day EMA 12. You just find the thing that's been working and you just plan on it happening again. And then you have a tool that you use to get into the trade. So I haven't looked at this trade before now. I'm about to just dive in and show you how I would have traded this, even though I've never even looked at it before. So let's do it. Looking at this in the daily time frame, I was aware that this was something that was going to be pulling in to the daily EMA 12 at some point. And I think I should, like normally what I'll do is I'll even have an alarm on these stocks that I see that it's see right here, daily EMA 12 rider. I'll have an alarm set so that if price crosses that daily EMA 12, it alerts me and I can jump in and take a look at the stock in case I've missed it. So now down to the 2-minute. So knowing that it's coming in towards the daily EMA 12, this should have been on my watch list in the morning. And I think it actually was, but I traded something else because I was too focused on other intraday trades that really don't benefit me. I'm trying to focus more on these I'm trying to focus more on swing trades than scalp trades. So I look at this, let me clean this up a bit. And I'm going to pull this back so I can see what I would have seen here. So I don't just buy at a moving average. It's just not my thing. Like I don't believe moving averages are areas of support. I think support is defined by price and volume. And so knowing that the daily EMA 12 is close is something that matters to me. I think, you know, one other thing that I might do as the day is beginning is I might have an alert set on yesterday low of day. This indicator that I have here, this is a newer version than the one that I've publicly released, but it's day trader levels, DT levels. And on this indicator, you can actually set alerts based on, oh, you can't do it in replay mode, but you can set alerts based on like the yesterday's low, yesterday's high, or just breaking the range of yesterday. And whenever that happens, it'll alert you. So I could have had that. So it would alert me like, oh, it's broken the low of yesterday. It's flushing down to catch that daily EMA 12. So now I just want to watch, right? So typically I like to play the 2-minute time frame. It's just my preference. You can do whatever you like. But what I want to see on the way down here, I want to see it touch or get through that daily EMA 12. There it touched and is bouncing away from it. Let's just see what happens. And if this is going to be a thing that works, it might just V-shape to highs, right? But I'm counting on there being a higher low that I can trade. Let's just see. Okay, there. So right there probably would have been my first attempt. Because I'm looking on the 2-minute time frame. I'm looking for it to set a higher low. I would probably risk down to here. but you don't have to. You could just risk to here if you want. And I'll just make it 1 penny less. Stop price should be one below there. And let's see what happens. Right there. So normally the way that I trade, let me get rid of this ORH. Normally the way that I trade, that's it. You know, I could take off half of my risk right there. And then if I stop out from here, I don't lose any money. And so I tend to get in with pretty big size when I take these trades so that once I sell my half and I'm risk free, then it makes it worth my while as price continues to the upside. Let's just see what happens. Stop me out. Okay. So now it's a little bit later in the day. I might switch to the 5. I might switch, keep it on the 2. I'm not sure. Let's see. I'm still watching, waiting for some sign that this thing is going to hold. And look, so we couldn't break above the high of the morning, like the open, but we also couldn't, let me get rid of this. We also couldn't break down lower below that daily EMA 12. So I probably want, now I'm thinking, okay, well, this might be the spot where it's going to work. So you might have to try again. So somewhere in here, I might want to give it a shot. And I could risk down to this low of day over here, which, you know, if I just risked to there in the first place, this probably would have worked. But let's see. Because I'm getting a little up signal before it's had a chance to go down, right? Like if I just zoom in on these bars, it's worth talking about how I think about these candlesticks. So here we had a bounce, like we flushed to the lows, we had a bit of a bounce, and then it failed, it rejected and pushed down lower. And then here on this candle right there, it set a high and a low, and then on the next candle, it didn't go lower, it pushed up through that high, and that's a trigger for me. And at this point now, I've got to risk more, I've got to risk down to this low of day if I really want to catch this move. So let's see how this thing plays out. Does this work? Looks like it might. I'm just going to jump out to a higher time frame so this can go quicker. Pretty sure that's it. Away you go throughout the rest of the day. So I'm going to jump out now to the 15-minute, and I'm going to show you the real magic of the daily EMA 12. So let's play this out. There's the end of the day. Here comes the following day. Boom, first candle, second candle, third candle, fourth candle. This is the dream. This is the absolute dream of trading. You found something that was riding a moving average. It consolidates from the highs, gets to the position where you expect that it might hold, shows you signs in price action. I didn't even look at the RSI. I didn't look at anything else. I just was watching price action and I thought, it makes sense for it to bounce here. I'm going to try some higher lows. And because of that, I got in on the lows this day, and look at the following day. Like this whole move that everybody's looking at, like, oh my God, I got to get in. And they're chasing, chasing, chasing. You're in from below. You don't even need to be stressed. Like this is a very stress-free entry. And look at your risk to reward on this thing. It's crazy. So that's what my trading partner and friend has been focusing on, and she's been doing great with it. This is just one example. I did it yesterday with another stock. I'll show you now. So this is ALAB, and ALAB is actually a 2-day EMA 12 rider, I think, or maybe even a 3-day. But I just had it on the 1 day, and I noticed that it was coming in really sharply yesterday. So it had pulled back the day before and was coming in sharply. And I thought, oh, there's this like support here, and we're flushing that low. And so there's this whole balance that happened back over here. And I'm looking at this thinking, huh, I bet you there's like a whole bunch of volume traded within there. I'm not even gonna look at the volume profile, but just eyeballing it, I can see that would be a good place to find support. And we got pretty close, but not touched the daily EMA 12. But I didn't care. I just saw that, you know, we broke the low, like we've been stair stepping up here, up, up, up on the daily. We finally broke that low on Friday, and we're coming back down into this area where there was prior balance. And so I'm looking at this and I see it. I was just scrolling through my charts mid-morning and I saw it. So let's zoom in and see what I did there. I think it was a 1-minute EMA 12 rider down. Yes, it was. And typically when you see a 1-minute EMA 12 rider, actually it's even a stair step, isn't it? Look how hard this was flushing. 1-minute stair step. That's pretty crazy. I can't remember exactly what my entry was. Was I doing the 2-minute or the 1-minute? Either way, it was a 2-minute stair step as well. I did record my screen. I could even show you this trade, but anyway, so let's say that's my spot, right? We're stair stepping down. That means that the high of the prior candle is lower than the high of the one before that, or so, like the high of the current candle is lower than the one before that until that breaks. Once that breaks, that's a go signal. And look, we're down into this area of balance that I've been looking for from the other side. We're near the daily EMA 12. I'm like, this makes sense. There's increasing volume on the way down, which is not sustainable, right? If you got that increasing volume, it's going to have to stop at some point and at least give a bounce. And when that happens, my goal, my target is, I look at this as, if this is going to be the bottom and this is going to be my breaking spot here, I eyeball it like that. And so I'm looking, this would be a 1-to-1. So from the red line here to this line here, we get rid of this, the blue line there to the yellow line right here. That's if I enter there and it gets to here, that's a 1-to-1 move from here to my risk. So I could take off half right there. So I'm always throwing this on here just to show me like, how far away is it to get risk free? And I'm also looking at this EMA here. I think actually because it was a 1 minute EMA rider, I probably should have been on the 1 minute time frame. Let's just look at that. Yeah, it was closer to that one. So on the break, which on this one, on the 1 minute time frame would have been down here, then you'd expect it to get to here, and it actually got above that. So I'm always looking like a bounce should at least get to the moving average that it was riding down. And so it should at least get to this blue line, but keep in mind that the blue line is coming down at the same time the price is. So when it breaks up and it's like 2 or 3 candles away, it's a trailing indicator, so it's still moving down. Either way, could have gotten risk free here, or I could have done it on the 2 minute and done the same thing. And I did it on one of those. I think it was the 2. I'm pretty sure I was on the 2 minute time frame. And I waited till it would touch the 2 minute EMA 12 to get half off. And so I was more than risk free with a stop below the low. And what happened? This was the bummer. It wasn't the ideal spot, right? Like, it wasn't as perfect as I would have wanted it to be because it didn't get close to that EMA 12. I also think that it's probably like more like a weekly EMA 12 rider. But either way, this was a great RR. It was the best trade I took all day, and it was not stressful. You're just watching this, just waiting for the trigger, and then it triggers and away you go. And now, fingers crossed, it pulled in a bit at the close on Friday, which had me a little bit sus of what might happen because everything else was closing at highs. So it pushed up at the market on close move into the end of the day, and then it flushed and was going down lower. But either way, I'm risk free. I sold a portion when it got up here somewhere. I sold some. So I've taken off enough now that I would still make money if the trade fails. But I'm hoping we get something more like this, right? Like just look at the daily time frame. If that's a quick high or low and it continues up, I think that my next spot that I would love to take profit would be take a little bit more off here if it got to the highs again, because it could chop sideways for a little bit before it continues to go up higher. It has a history of doing that here. You can see it came lower, chopped around a bit, and then broke above. So if this is a peak, that could happen. Or it could just continue to the upside, or it could fail and maybe I'll stop out on Monday. It doesn't really matter. The point is, it's not a stressful trade. You're sitting in the driver's seat most of the time you're doing the trading. You're just kind of chill, waiting for these moments to occur, and making sure you're sort of hawk eyes on the charts, and when those moments happen, when you have your alerts set and things are starting to trigger, you just get in and you make your trade. You're not doing this thing where you're chasing a breakout and high stress and you don't know where to put your stop or how much to risk, and things move super fast to the upside and then wick you down on the outside. Like it's not fun. Not that trading should be fun, but it's just too high stress, and I find that my results, I can have incredible results on days like that, but I also have terrible results on days like that. And so it's just too much of a mix. Whereas this strategy of like finding which moving average the stock is riding and then just waiting for it to come back and give you an opportunity to get in and give you some sort of signal that it's time to go, that's the sweet spot for me. All right, so I'll stop it there. I wish you guys a wonderful week and happy trading. Hey, if you like my indicators on TradingView and you like the content I'm producing here on this channel, please remember to like and subscribe.